This is an exciting day, and appreciate everybody being here in person. There's a few people we want to thank before we get into the formal introduction of Russell. First, I wanted to thank Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and KCP for their Laker legacies. Two of those players, of course, are champions with us, and they'll always be Lakers, so I want to thank them for their journey here. Wanted to thank the Washington Wizards organization, Ted Leonsis, and their general manager, Tommy Shepard, just for the spirit of collaboration and professionalism and handling a transaction that was seen as a win-win for both franchises. And then I wanted to also thank Thad Fouché, Russell's agent, just for his role in all of this as well, and his spirit of collaboration once we made the trade to onboard Russell with our team. I think today is an incredibly exciting day for the Lakers organization. To be sitting on the podium to introduce one of the best playmakers that's ever played in the game is something we feel incredibly fortunate and blessed to do today. We had some goals this offseason as we were transitioning into building our team, and two of the primary things we wanted to address were adding another playmaker to our roster and then adding shooting. And I think over the last couple weeks, I'm sure all of you have seen that we've been able to meet those goals with with a lot of confidence. And today is about the playmaker piece. I think in thinking about Russell Westbrook, there's two things that come to mind for me as a general manager. One is that he's one of the most liked and respected and beloved players in the league by players he's played with. He's an incredible leader, and when you talk to teammates from the other storied franchises he's played for, to a man, the input you get is that he's one of the great teammates they've played with, and that speaks to his character and his leadership. And those are qualities that are incredibly important to our team. And then the second thing is, I think he is in an elite class of players in terms of his competitive nature. One of the core qualities as we build a roster is seeking out guys that have an a heightened sense of being competitive warriors on the court, players that played with the ultimate sort of grit and grind and tenacity, and Russell stands in an elite class in that category, and that's drawn us to him. And then I would say the last thing that I've really seen in the growth of his game is early in our careers. I think all of us, when we're young, we see things a certain way, and a lot of his triple doubles early were done with force, but I think now his triple doubles are done with force and with thoughtfulness, and how he uses the pieces and the players he plays with as teammates and makes the sum of the parts greater than each individual. And I think he's really learned how to think the game at a higher level. So those are some of the qualities that attracted us to this day, and we're proud to introduce Russell Westbrook as a Laker and take your questions. So thank you.
Start with Jim Hill, first question. Thank you, Robert.
First of all, Russell, welcome back. We were just talking earlier about when you were about 12 years old, you were watching the Laker parades and stuff like that. And even then you knew you wanted to be a Laker, and how much this day means to you. The other part of the question is, in the past you've been used to being the focal point of the offense. Now you don't have to worry about that. And what adjustments will you make now that you're playing with people like AD and LeBron?
First, man, it's surreal. I think it still hasn't kind of hit me yet that being from LA, growing up not too far from here, being able to watch the parades, try to go to them, miss school to try to go to them, being a Laker fan and being from LA, but now everything coming full circle for me is it's a blessing. You know, it's a lot of things I can't put into actual words just because, you know, some of these dreams don't come true for people like myself. And I'm truly blessed and thankful for this opportunity, and, you know, I can't wait to get started. And then secondly, I've been blessed to be able to go into my 14th season. And each year I try to find ways, like Rob mentioned, to be able to uplift and make my teammates better around me. And AD and Brian are friends of mine first. And me being their teammate, my job is to come in and uplift them, and they do the same with me, vice versa. And as the season prolongs, we will figure it out. There will be ups, there will be downs, and that's normal. That's okay. But we will figure out how to play the best way that we want to play to be able to win a championship.
Kyle Goon, Orange County Register. Russ, I was just wondering what it was like kind of talking to LeBron and AD, sort of getting a comfort level that you guys could kind of work a chemistry and a fit on and off the court. What were those conversations like, and how did you get comfortable with the idea that you guys could all play together?
I mean, honestly, this stuff happened so quickly. This happened so fast, in the last 2 weeks or so. But we've had brief conversations and talked about obviously what we need to do and how we need to do that. And we'll address that as training camp and as the season comes along, and we'll figure it out.
Brad Turner, LA Times.
Russ, when you went through this process, how draining was it? How tiring was it? And how happy was your family that you got back home to LA?
I mean, it was, anytime a situation like this comes about or an opportunity presents itself, it can be stressful, it can be a lot of emotions, but ultimately, the biggest thing for me is being in this league when you know teams that actually want you and actually want you to be a place. To me, that means more than anything else. And at that point, it's my job to be able to make sure that I come and do what I'm supposed to do, and that's to come and compete and make sure that we have a chance to compete for a championship. And yes, my family was very, very happy.
Sorry, Bill Orton, Athletic.
Hey, Russ, welcome back to LA. When you look at the way the league is kind of shaping up right now, where do you see this team stacking up with some of these other contenders, and how meaningful is it for you to be back in a situation where you can say at the start of the year that the goal is to win a championship, and that's potentially attainable with this group?
Yeah, man, to be honest, my mindset is I never really worry about no other team. To be honest, I only can control what's in our locker room and how we able to compete and go out, and I put our team up against anybody, and that's just kind of how my mindset is, and that's where I stand with that.
Bill Plaschke.
Yeah, Russell, do you feel like you have anything to prove?
No, I don't. I've been blessed and thankful to be able to be in this league so long, and lucky to be able to play and be healthy. When I got drafted in the NBA, that was me proving people wrong. When I was able to go to college and get a degree, that was me proving people wrong. Not a degree, I wish I got a degree, but go to college, go to UCLA from the inner city, that was me proving people wrong. Just making it out the hood was proving people wrong. I don't need to do that anymore. I've been able to bless the people around me, my family, been able to impact people all across the world with this platform that's been given to me, and I'm continue to do that. And obviously we want to win a championship, but our ultimate goal is to make sure we use what we have to impact others around you.
Okay. Mark Medina, please.
Hi, Russell. Mark Medina here, USA Today. Congratulations. Good
Thank
to see
you.
you. How do you initially envision how you and LeBron will share ball handling and playmaking duties?
As you know, Bron is one of the best players to play this game, and his ability to be able to kind of do everything on the floor allows me to be able to just figure it out. I'm coming to a championship caliber team, and my job is to make sure that I'm able to make his game easy for him, and I'll find ways to do that throughout the game. As it pertains to ball handling and all that, it really doesn't matter. There's many different ways you can impact the game without having the ball in your hands, and I've been able to do that for many years, and I will figure it out.
Okay, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN.
Hey, Russ, I know you grew up in LA watching the Lakers going to the parade and stuff. You also had a really close relation with Kobe Bryant. Did you have that in your head at all when this trade was coming together, and in just these last couple of weeks since it's happened?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't left my head. It's things that we've talked about, me and him, just the potential of me being able to be a Laker and understanding what that entails. And you know, it's just crazy to think about. You know, with me every time I put that Laker jersey on, and you know, that's all I can say about that.
Okay, we're gonna get a few questions on Zoom. Communication.
Okay, we're going to start off with Mike Trudell.
Hey, Russ, welcome to Los Angeles. Just to follow up on Kobe, that there was that time during his last year, he came to Oklahoma City, and you and KD had some time with him in the locker room and kind of exchanged gifts. And just wondered, the whole mentality he used to talk about when he thought about you was something that Rob alluded to, that constant competitive fire. Was that the thing that he related to you most with, or did it just come from competition and all the time that you spent playing against him and so on and talking to him?
I think that was the initial thing that kind of brought us together, as being able to compete and not being able to take nights off. But we began to have a better relationship off the floor as brothers, and talking about other things outside of basketball, and things that we've been able to do with this game. And to me, that is the most important thing I've been able to cherish from Kobe, that I will continue to cherish and live on.
Just an anecdote to that. I remember, I still have his voice in my head, but the year that Russell broke the record that no one thought would ever be broken in terms of averaging a triple-double and putting himself in the category of players like the Big O. There were a small handful of players around the NBA that Kobe really felt like embodied that sort of Mamba mentality. And I remember throughout that year just his praise for Russell's approach, and you know, him talking about that competitive edge that is rare in sports, across all sports, and that I could just hear him say he gets it, like he's got it.
Okay, our next question will be from Dave McMillan, ESPN.
Hi, fellas. Coming to you from Vegas. Start with Russ, and I have a question for Rob as well. Russ, you've had so many moments in your career, whether it be that first round series against the Lakers, obviously the relationship with Kobe playing the Lakers in the bubble in the playoffs, that Nipsey Hussle tribute game. Melo spoke to us about how just the Lakers, even though we never played for them, always seemed to be on his radar to some extent. I wondered if you could speak to that. Did you share a type of sentiment like that, where you felt like the Lakers were kind of circling in your career?
At some point, obviously, being from LA, you always wish that you can play for your home team, and being able to do that. But that's definitely something that always kind of circled around in my mind, and maybe one day, but I always will come back and be like, that probably won't happen. But, you know, I just kind of wait to see if that ever happened. But now we're here, and I'm going to take full advantage of it.
And for Rob, last season, the team certainly was decimated by injuries, and that could have been the direction that you kind of came to a conclusion on, that, hey, if we had health, we can run it back. What motivated you to make such dramatic changes this offseason?
Opportunity. I mean, I think it was an opportunity to make an aggressive move that we felt like bettered our probability to bring the 18th title to the Los Angeles Lakers. And when an opportunity like that comes, you're thoughtful, you analyze it, you look at the pros and cons, and then you make a decision. That's what leaders are tasked to do, and we felt like this was an opportunity to maximize our ability to do what we're obsessed to do, and that's to bring an 18th title to this city.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. Kate, please.
Okay, we're going to throw it back to you guys there.
Oh, do you want to go ahead? Okay, sorry, go ahead. Russell, you've always been so adamant about how Challengers and Boys and Girls Club developed who you were as a young man. Now you get to come home and be the role model for the young boys and girls who are where you once were. What does that mean to you?
That is kind of the most important thing about being back home, being able to inspire and impact people, especially our youth in our communities, and especially underserved communities, especially in the city of LA, kind of where I grew up at. And my focus will be dialed into the community, like it's always been, and I will continue to find ways to uplift our communities, as much as I can.
Hey, Russ. Haley Winslow, Fox 11. Welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You have so many titles to be proud of. What do you think is the biggest thing you have to offer to the Lakers? And then just for fun, what are you most looking forward to off the court about being back home?
Offer to, one thing I always have done and always will do is stay true to myself. I think you can never waver, and I can never waver in this league and without being in it for a long time. And I always want to stay true to who I am. But with that, making sure that I'm able to listen and be all ears, because I am coming to unbelievable organization, team, and players that I'm able to learn from. Each year I try to find things I can learn and to be able to help improve my game and be a better player, and I will do that here as well. And being back home, just being able to be with my kids all the time, is being able to see my mom and dad and my wife all the time is, to me, the best thing you can ask for. Kind of being back home and not having them to have to travel everywhere is a blessing for me.
Okay, we'll just do a few more. I'm going to go with Alan Sleva, please.
Hey Russ, 710 ESPN. A lot of the new vets talked about how they're excited to play with you. Just want to get your thoughts on the roster, this kind of combination veterans, obviously LeBron, Anthony Davis. Your thoughts on the roster?
Yeah, man, it's amazing. The roster is great. A bunch of guys that I've already known previous, which is even better. And I'm more excited just to, like I said before, man, I'm always interested as I come into the season, I'm always looking at the roster and figuring out how I can make other guys better. And it's as simple as that. And I want to be able to leave an impact on people when they either play with me or come across me, and obviously in a positive way. And I'll find ways to do that with our roster. But I'm really looking forward to getting together with all the guys and figuring out.
Alrighty, Bill Orm, Athletic, please. Just one moment. The mic over to you.
Hey, cool question for Frank. Russ kind of shared a little bit of his vision of how this might work out over time, but I'm curious, what is your vision for how LeBron, AD, and Russell can all work together, and in what ways do you see each of them maybe needing to adapt their games for it all to maximize its fullest potential?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think anytime you have three great players like this, there is an element of sacrifice required, and, we've all talked about that and are all in on that. But these three guys can do it all. And what I love about our group, Bron, AD, and Russ, is they're all make the right play players. You know what I mean? It's not just about scoring or being a one-dimensional player. They can all do it all. So I'm most excited about seeing what the three of them on the court at the same time looks like. I think we're going to be an extremely dynamic, fast-breaking team, and one that can play. They can play off of all three guys in many different ways. So, I think with the speed, athleticism of those guys, plus the guys, the complementary parts we put together, the shooters and the defenders, I think we got a real chance this year to do something special. And it's on us now to put in the work, and if you get these type of talented guys to buy in and put in the work, hopefully we can achieve something special.
Brian Solis.
Question for Russell and Frank as well. Much has been made about the age of this roster. Could that actually be a weapon, something to serve to your advantage if we consider that age equals experience?
Age does equal experience. IQ and intelligence helps you win. And in terms of motivation, the motivation for us is that trophy. You know what I mean? Not what people are saying. This group is highly driven to get back on top. And I don't really think about anything about what anybody's saying about our age, but I do agree that the experience it will be necessary and will help us win.
Sorry, last question.
No, go ahead.
Go, Kyle Gould, please.
Kyle Goon again. Russ, I was just wondering, you had so much stability in Oklahoma City for such a long time, and then you've played for a couple teams in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Does that change your concept of what you want out of a franchise, and is your vision, and obviously, there's factors beyond any one person's control, but is your vision to be with the Lakers for a long time?
My vision, in this league, you understand this is a business, and do that, you just do your job. And that's what I'll continue to do. As far as the business side of basketball and figuring out where I would be, and like I wouldn't imagine that I'd be here 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It's just something that I can't fathom. But while I'm here, I will. That's where I know how. Give everything that I have, and I'll let the business side of basketball take care of that.
Well, Allison's coming up too. I want to thank Russell's family and support team that's here today too. And when I was an agent for James Harden, I went to a lot of Thunder games early in his career, and Russell's dad is going to be a perfect part of Lakers Nation with the energy he brings.
Alrighty, we're going to do some photos.
Perfect.
Rob's going to officially introduce Russell to the Lakers.